Hello everyone and welcome to Tuesday Tips with Emily. Today we're going to be showing you some tips to keep your machine embroidery by numbers flat. So here's an example. This is from our new spring me time. So this is the egg and this is the one I will be demonstrating on today. We're just going to show you how to keep all of these creases right here really nice and flat so your project turns out really good. So to start, we're gonna look right here at the machine. I've got one started. I'll just walk you through the steps. So first you're gonna stitch the stitch line. Then we're gonna take the hoop out of the machine and you're gonna trim right along that line that we just stitched, and you want to get as close as you can to that stitch line. Doing this just helps remove some of the bulk from your seams, which will help keep your folds nice and flat, and then also it helps reduce some of the shadow behind if you have a light piece of fabric laying on top of a dark one. So then you're going to take your next piece of fabric in the line and you're going to lay it right along that stitch line. You really want to make sure it's centered along that line, and it's going to cover your whole entire box. And then we're just going to put that right back in the machine and stitch that one down. Then we'll remove that from the machine, and then our directions, one of our tips that we list in our directions for keeping your seams flat is to use a mini iron. So this is the mini iron that we have here, and you're just going to take your fabric and pull it tight against that stitch line, and then take your iron and just press that nice and flat. The great thing about this mini iron is that it does fit in all sizes of hoops, so you should be able to fit that in whatever you need. And then that is a great way to keep all of your seams really nice and flat. For our second one, I'm going to show you from the beginning how you would start a machine embroidery by number. So this one I have placed the batting and stitched the template, and now I'll show you how to lay your first piece. So we're going to pop this in the machine, and this box right here is the one that we're going to cover. So we're going to take our first piece of fabric and you're going to lay it right side up, completely covering this piece of, or that section of the template. Then I'm just going to back up my machine to the beginning. So the first piece is different than all the other pieces that come after it. It is laid face up and all the rest are laid face down. And then we're just gonna stitch that. And then just like we did before, we're gonna take it out of the machine and trim right along that line that we just stitched to remove some of the bulk. Then we're going to take our next piece of fabric and you're going to lay it face down, centered along the line that you just stitched, just like that. And then we'll pop this back in the machine and hit start. Okay, and the second way of keeping your stitch or your creases flat is a starch pen. So this is the Clover Starch Pen, and it has some starch liquid inside the pen, and to use it, you're just gonna squeeze it a little bit, get a drop going, make sure it's really nice and wet on the tip of your pen. Then you just take it and run it along the line of stitching. So you can see it right there. Just run it along our line of stitching. Make sure it gets really wet with that starch. Then just like you did with the iron, you're gonna pull against your stitches, and then this little roller tool is what you're gonna use. And you just roll right along the fabric, and this will help crease it. And then that starch is gonna hold it nice and flat. So if you do not have a mini iron, this is another great option that you can use. So thanks for watching, everybody. These are our tips. If you have any tips, we would love to hear it, what your tips are for keeping your projects nice and flat. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.